Well, I just wanted to talk about our latest adventure and improvement upon our hay sourcing for the goats. Yesterday we went, and this is not rocket science. You guys that are into livestock know this, but I don't know, maybe some of you that follow my channel are still learning. Yesterday afternoon we went and we picked up our own hay direct from the field. Now, the point of this was, I've made videos in the past about, the convenience aspect. Well, let's just break this down, okay? Let's just say you do what is maybe deemed the most convenient for you on your cash flow. You go to the grocery store and you buy, not the grocery store, you go to the feed store and you buy one bale at a time as needed because you don't have storage space for it. That's fine. That one bale at a time down here in Houston right now, to go buy a bale of just coastal hay retail, is about $10 to $12 to buy it from the store, okay? We were then going directly to the hay farm, buying it out of the barn. Now I know there's guys closer to us here, I just don't know where they're at. We were driving 2 hours to just the first guy that we found. He had straw, coastal, and alfalfa. He had everything we need. So there's a convenience factor there. It's one trip, get everything you need. Okay? We were paying $7 a bale for coastal out of the barn. Now, he was loading it for us, which was nice. He had that spear. I showed you guys that front end loader on his tractor where he could pick up a bundle of 21 bales at a time. Boop, boop, set them on the trailer, off we go. So there was that. It was very convenient. It was, we didn't have to do anything except strap it down. Barely even had to do that because the bundle was tied and it's heavy enough it's not going to blow off the trailer when it's all tied together, okay? So we were doing that. $7 a bale, plus it was about a 5-hour round trip. Yesterday, finally, well, a couple days ago, I started looking because it's early June now. A lot of people are bailing. I started looking on Facebook Marketplace, saw a lady posted, pick up your own in the field, $4 a bale. Okay, that's getting a lot better. Now there's some work involved. We got to go pick it up ourselves, but it's close by also. It was only 45 minutes away. Not a 5-hour round trip, 45 minutes one way. So call it a 3-hour round trip. After you get there, pick it up, everything. And no sooner than I was going to go get it from her, I saw another guy post for $3 a bale. Now, granted, this is a Bahia Coastal mix. I, for one, am not picky. Grass hay is grass hay in my opinion. I know there are minor differences in the nutrient balance or whatever. But for the sake of just roughage for the goats, because our goats get a pellet ration every day, it has everything they need in it from term of micronutrients. They also get a mineral ration for a balanced goat mineral, sheep and goat mineral. So, I guess maybe it's not sheep and goat, but they get a mineral ration. So that has absolutely everything they can need from a mineral standpoint. Plus they get out in their pen and they have, forage to get around and browse what they want. So the hay, honestly, to the goats, it's roughage. It just fills their gut, it keeps their rumen going. We are not relying on this hay in any major portion to be what balances the goat's diet. So Bahia versus coastal, maybe a couple % protein difference, maybe, honestly, it's on such a range I can't even find a steady answer. Point is, $3 a bale, load it in the field ourselves. So we went, and this was so fun to me. Maybe I've mentioned it before, but I grew up in high school. I ran a hay crew. We ran around and picked up bales for all the local farmers. Okay, I love it. I absolutely love it. We took the whole family. The kids rode on the trailer while I loaded on. My wife drove, which was a little frustrating. I have to tell the story. I have to make fun of her. She's going to see this video and get mad at me. But I tried to have my 7-year-old daughter drive. I started driving in the field when I was 7 or 8. Granted, I was driving standard transmission. You put it in low, granny low, and you let the truck just walk. And all the kid does is driving is just steers and doesn't hit bales. Your job is just don't hit a bale. And when somebody hollers at you to stop, you just bump the shifter into neutral. Well, my truck's an automatic, So it doesn't pull in granny low as easy. So I was having to show Mackenzie, you know, show her the brake and show her the accelerator, you know, to give it a little bit of throttle every now and then. Well, she got to do that for about a minute, you know, just enough to get going. And my wife said, no, I'm just afraid it's just not safe. Something's gonna happen. She's gonna hit a bale. So my wife kicked her out. She took over driving, and it wasn't 5 minutes later my wife hit a bale. I had to give her a hard time when we got done loading. I told her she was fired because, you know, that and the cost of the bale has to come out of your pay. That's only fair. But anyway, so Katie drove. I loaded on. We just did a row, you know, I did maybe 2 rows on each side, and we just kind of switched. We'd turn around and switch to the other side of the trailer. But we got 75 bales, you know, 5 bales per layer. You only go 3 layers high, times 5 layers deep, you know, so or 5 rows deep. So, you know, it's easy. I guess somebody texted me. It wasn't like I was trying to, you know, load and stack myself and go 5 or 6 high. So it was really pretty easy. But it was a wonderful evening. I loved doing it. The kids had a blast riding on the trailer. Sure, would I have rather worked with a good 4-man crew to load it? Yeah, but by the time I would have spent calling my buddies to try to get a crew together for 75 bales, it wasn't worth it. The real point is $3 a bale, loaded out of the field, and it was only a 40-minute drive from the house. Okay, so we went from $7 a bale with a 5-hour round trip to less than half of that cost and less than half of the time, because for us driving 40 minutes each way plus loading, it was still only like 2 hours tops, maybe 2.5. Okay, so big improvement on things. I mean, yesterday, you know, maybe I'm just making this video just because I'm really happy with how yesterday went. Yesterday I started the day, went and did some dirt work for a buddy of mine, just moving and spreading some fill dirt around his yard. Came home hot, tired, beat out from that, had a tire blowout on the trailer, had a tire going low on the tractor. I mean, it was a day. By the time I got home about 4:30, 5 o'clock. We had dinner, loaded back up, off we went. Okay, so, you know, our plan originally we were gonna go get it today. It's Sunday. We were gonna go get it today, and then he messaged me yesterday. He said, hey, I started baling today instead of Sunday. So, hey, you know what? You got a couple hours of daylight left. It's getting cooler. Take the opportunity, go snatch it. So now it's cool again this morning. But now all I've got to do this morning is get it in the barn, which is going to be another task to get it into the shop, you know, because now we've got our woodworking tools in there. So we're probably going to have to move the table saw around a little bit, clean up some space and try to back the trailer in. I'm thinking I can load most of it. I was debating, you know, putting it on a pallet and then raising it up with a tractor. But I think I'll just stand on the trailer and wing it up there into the loft, throw about 20 bales up on the edge, then jump up there and move them. Assuming that I can back the trailer in as far as possible into the shop. So anyway, point of the video, I rambled as always, but the point of the video is shopping around, being smart about it. If you have the storage space, and I understand some of you do not. I didn't used to. We started out going to the store buying 2 bales at a time and finding a place to wedge them in the barn, right? Then we built our little 12x12 barn, and we had a little loft. We could fit 7 bales up there. Then we were borrowing space at the in-laws. We could put, you know, 20, 30 bales in their shop on pallets, okay? Now we finally built our own shop with a barn loft. It'll easily hold, I think, 150 bales, you know, as long as we stack them tight and don't build hay tunnels for the kids. But we've got the space now. It's still not ideal because it's a hay loft in the woodworking shop, which means that every time I have to get in there and get hay out, I have to work around woodworking tools, and you know, it gets hay all over the floor, makes my wife fussy because she likes her shop nice and clean. So I would still like to have a true dedicated hay barn. I mean, a little, I don't know, 16 by 16, 12 by 12 on our little goat barn is kind of tight, but if it was dedicated only to hay, I could fit a lot in there. So, you know, 16 by 16 or 20 by 20, I would like to be able to have just a basic little pole barn, but a dedicated hay barn that I can fill that thing in the summer when hay is cheap in the field, and, you know, be able to just draw from the barn the rest of the year and not have to be running. Because right now we make 2 or 3 trips a year, it seems like, to go get hay or alfalfa or straw or something. Now the alfalfa is still not, nobody grows alfalfa down here, so it still does have to be imported. We do still have to get it through a hay wholesaler or a feed store. You know, it's like $14 a bale this last winter. It's crazy expensive, but we don't really go through that much of it. and we only use it when our does are in milk. They have free choice alfalfa. The straw we use for bedding, but again, only while we're kidding. I think we bought 21 straw bales, because we thought, man, we're just ripping through them. We were buying them local, I think. Or no, we went and bought like a dozen or so. It doesn't matter. We bought a handful and then we went back and got more. When we're kidding and we're changing out the stalls a lot, yes, we're tearing through them. But we bought 21 back in January, and we were done kidding. Pretty much by that point, we're already done kidding. We were just nursing them off. And I think we probably got, 10 or 15 still left. So we're still trying to find our balance on how much of any given hay or straw product do we need to get through a year. But of course it's changing all the time because our herd is still growing. The numbers are constantly up and down. We're kidding out, we're not kidding. So again, we need that dedicated space to store everything and have it on hand so it's here when we need it. The last thing you want to be doing is you're in a bind and you got to run and you're at somebody else's mercy because there's been a drought or too much rain and people can't get the hay out of the field and it's hardly available. We've dealt with it. We've dealt with a drought and hay was super expensive, and we've dealt with hay, it was too much rain and nobody can cut and hay is super expensive. We were going to the feed store and the only way they would let us buy a bale of hay was if we also bought a bag of grain, of just like goat feed. They said you cannot buy hay unless you also buy feed because we are insisting that you are supplementing the goat's diet with feed. The feed's readily available, the hay is not. And even then they were limiting to like 2 bales of hay, 2 or 3 bales of hay per bag of feed or something crazy like that. So you don't want to be at somebody else's mercy, not if you can help it. Store some in your garage, store some in your freaking garage attic. I don't care. Store it outside on a pallet and just throw a good tarp over it. That works too, So, long story around, I know, preached and ranted a little bit, but hopefully it helps you guys out. $3 a bale, loaded ourselves, $225 for 75 bales. I think this will pretty well get us through our heavy coastal feeding. Right now we're feeding about a third to half a bale a day. I throw out a third of a bale to all of the open does and all of their baby does. And we've got bag feeders for the one doe that's still left nursing her babies. We've got a bag feeder for her and a bag feeder for the bucks, and I refill those about once a week. So, and when I refill those, it's like half a bale. So, a third to half a day. 75 bales, if you say half a day, that gets us 150 days, but it'll last longer. Somehow it always lasts longer because every time that we've tried to go on a linear daily feed rate, it always lasts longer. Of course, if I could just get an electric fence put up and get the goats out here in this nonsense, not the barrels, this nonsense, I just need an electric fence. Really, we don't even need to fence them, but if we don't fence them, then we have to stand out here and just kind of shepherd them just because I still don't trust the dogs all that much. So anyway, that's that. I was about to say I'm going to go kick the goats out right now, but they would run straight to this hay trailer and they would eat all the hay and not eat the stuff. So I've got to get the trailer unhooked, get it brought around back to the shop, and start making a plan to get this stuff put in the loft.